We're going to go over the rest of our fractions packet, our test prep packet. We did part of it yesterday and we're going to do the rest of it today. So yesterday we did mostly adding and subtracting fractions. This first skill that we're going to be working on is fractions as division. So the first one says, Coach Smith ordered 3 pizzas to feed 5 members on the track team. Each member received the same amount of pizza. What fraction of the pizza did each member receive? So you have to think to yourself, are we going to take the members and cut it up and share it with pizza? Or are we going to take the pizza and cut it up and share it with the members? Hopefully you know that we're not going to cut up members, we're going to cut up pizza. So how many pizzas did he have? He had 3 pizzas. How many members were there? There were 5 members. So each person got 3 divided by 5, which is the same thing as 3/5, because remember this line right here means to divide. So make sure when you have these types of questions that you are asking yourself what thing is going to be cut or split up. That thing is going to go first. All right, the next question. James, Daniel, and Tyler want apples. Jamie, Daniel, and Taylor wanted apples. Jamie cuts 5 apples into equal sized pieces. If they all eat the same amount, how many apples will each person eat? So again, we have people and we have apples. Are we going to take the people and cut it up and share it with the apples? Or are we going to take the apples and cut it up and share it with the people? P-E-O-P-L-E. Hopefully you know we're not going to cut up people. We're going to cut up the apples. How many apples did they have? They had 5. How many people were there? There were 3. So we have 5 divided by 3. That's the same thing as 5/3. That's the same thing as an improper fraction, so we actually have to divide it. 5 divided by 3 is 1 remainder 2. And we write that as 1 2/3. So D is our correct answer. The football team has a 25-gallon cooler filled with water for each practice. There are 35 players on the team. Which fraction represents the amount of water in gallons each person receives if the water is shared equally among them? So we have water and we have people, or players actually. So we have water that we're going to split and share with players, or do we have players that we're going to split and share with water? Hopefully you will not cut up the players and share them. You will split the water. So they had 25 gallons of water. They had 35 players. So that is 25 divided by 35, or 25/35, which was letter choice B, 25/35. Moving on to the next question. Determine which 3 situations could represent the fraction 2/3 or an equivalent fraction. So we need 3 answers here, and it could be 2/3 or an equivalent. So Sarah walked 4 out of 9 miles. That means she had 9 total miles and she walked 4 of them. So that's 4/9. Can we simplify 4/9 to 2/3? No, we cannot. So A is not one of our answers. Mark shared a candy bar that had 6 pieces between 9 of his friends. So he's got candy bars that he's sharing with friends, or does he have friends that he's sharing with candy bar? Hopefully you know he's sharing his candy bar with his friends. So that's 6 out of 9. Can that be simplified? Yes, it can. We can divide it by 3/3 to get 2/3. And oh look, we got 2/3 or an equivalent fraction, so B is one of our answers. Marty ate 2 of the 3 cookies. There were 3 total cookies. He ate 2 of them. That means he ate 2/3. That's the fraction I was looking for, so C is the correct answer. 8 sandwiches are shared between 12 friends. We have sandwiches shared with friends, or do we have friends shared with sandwiches? We have sandwiches shared with friends. So that's 8 sandwiches divided by 12 friends. Can we simplify this? Yes, we can. We can divide them both by 4 over 4 to get 2/3, and that's the equivalent fraction we were looking for. So D is also a correct answer. So we only had to find 3 correct answers, which we did find, but we're going to look at E also. Beth misspelled 3 of the 9 vocabulary words on her spelling test yesterday. So she had 9 vocabulary words, and she misspelled 3 of them, 3/9. Can that be simplified? Yes, it can. We can divide it by 3 over 3 to get 1/3. Is 1/3 the fraction I was looking for? No, I was looking for 2/3. So that is not a correct answer. What values of A and B make the equation true? This is an equal sign, so it's like a balance. So whatever is on this side of the equal sign has to be the same that's on this side of the equal sign. So we're going to work this side out first. 2/3 times 6. I'm going to come down here. 2/3 times 6 over 1. That is 12/3. And if I divide 12 by 3, I get 4. So this equals 4. I also need this to equal 4. What could I put here for A and here for B that when I worked it out, I would also equal 4? You should notice that there is a 6 here, and there is also a 6 here on this side of the equal sign. What's missing is the 2 and the 3. So most likely we're probably going to use a 2 and a 3 for A and B. We're probably not going to use the 6 because there's already a 6 on this side. Now we have to just decide, where does the 2 go and where does the 3 go? Does the 2 go here and the 3 go there, or does the 3 go here and the 2 go here? Since this side of the equation is dividing by 3, I would bet this side of the equation is also dividing by 3. So the 2 would go here and the 2 would go for A and the 3 would go for B. But let's check and make sure. So if we put the 2 for A, that would be 2 times 6 over B, which we're thinking that B is going to be 3. We're going to multiply. That is 12/3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we were correct. There's going to be a 2 on this side, and there's going to be a 3 there for letter B. Flipping over to the back. The model below represents the amount of time in hours Kaylee spent sleeping each day of the last 3 days. So we have 1 day equals 24 hours. So this whole block represents 1 day, this whole block represents 2 days, and this whole block represents 3 days. Calculate the total amount of time in hours Kaylee spent sleeping the last 3 days. Also, if this is 1 day, this is 24 hours because there's 24 hours in a day. You can see out of this day, 2 of the blocks are shaded, but what's it cut into? It's cut into 2/5. So that's 2/5 of a day. This one has 2 shaded, but it's cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 2/6. This one has 3 shaded out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one shaded is 3/8. Now we're going to have to take each of these and multiply them by 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. So 2/5 of a day, I want to convert that to hours because it wants to know how many hours she spent sleeping. So we're going to do 2/5 times 24, 2/6 times 24, and 3/8 times 24. Over 1, over 1, over 1. So 2 times 24 is 48. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 24 is 48. 6 times 1 is 6. 3 times 24 is 72. 8 times 1 is 8. All of these are improper fractions. These two are fairly easy to divide if you know your times tables. 48 divided by 6 is 8. 72 divided by 8 is 9. But 48 divided by 5. So 48 divided by 5 is 9 with 3 left over. So normally we would write that as a fraction. We would write 9 and 3/5. But if we look at our answer choices are either whole numbers or they're decimals. So I need to make this a decimal, not a fraction. You might be thinking that's really complicated, but it's really not. Do you remember when we divided decimals and we weren't allowed to have remainders? What did we do when they were a decimal and we weren't allowed to have a remainder? We simply added a decimal and a 0 and kept going until we got rid of our remainder. So our decimal is now going to be in our quotient, and 5 goes into 30 6 times. Now I don't have a remainder. I have 9 and 6/10 of an hour, 8 hours, and 9 hours. So I would add all 3 of those up to see how much time she slept over the last 3 days, which is 26.6 hours. A card measures 4 2/3 inches by 2 2/5 inches. What is the area of the card? Area, you should remember from 4th grade, is length times width. So we're going to multiply 4 2/3 by 2 2/5. You need to get mad when you multiply. Some of you are trying to do it a different way, and you cannot do it that way. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 more is 14/3. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 more is 12/5. I cannot multiply 14 times 12 in my head, so I'm going to come over here. 14 times 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Put a 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. Add my partial products, and I get 168. And then if I multiply 3 times 5, I get 15. Since this is an improper fraction, I'm going to have to divide 168 divided by 15. 15 won't go into 1, but it will go into 16 one time. I subtract and get 1. I bring down my 8. How many times will 15 go into 18? 1 time. 1 times 15 is 15. I subtract and get 3. So that is 11 3/15. Now, 11 3/15 is actually not simplified. Let's simplify it. I would divide by 3 over 3, and I would get 11 1/5. Now, is 11 1/5 an answer choice? No. Does that mean you did something wrong? Not necessarily. In this case, they wanted the not simplified answer. You can tell because it's right here, 11 3/15. You always simplify, but if you can't find your simplified answer, look for your non-simplified answer. If you can't find either one, then you probably did something wrong and you should look at it again. Select the box in each row that correctly completes the comparison. It's either going to be less, greater, or equal to 3/4. That means we're going to put a box around 3/4. Then we're going to look at what's not in the box. What's not in the box is 2/3. Is 2/3 greater, less, or equal to 1? It's less. So my product's less than 3/4. Let's look at what's not in the box. What's not in the box is 3/3. Is 3/3 greater, less, or equal to 1? It's equal to 1, so my product is going to be equal to 3/4. Well, let's look at what's not in the box. Is what's not in the box greater, less, or equal to 1? It's greater than 1 because 4/3 is an improper fraction, so my product is going to be greater than 3/4. Which statement is true about the product of 4 and 2/3? So we actually need to work this out. 4 times 2/3. We put a 1 under it and we go straight across. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. So if I divide 8 divided by 3, I get 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3. So is this answer, 2 and 2/3, is it greater than 1 and less than 2? No, it's not greater than 1. Is it greater than 2 and less than 3? It is greater than 2 and it's not quite 3, so I think this is going to be the answer. Is it greater than 3 and less than 4? It's less than 4, but it's not greater than 3, so that can't be the answer. The product is greater than 4 and less than 5. It's not greater than 4. It is less than 5, but it's not greater than 4. So B has to be my correct answer. Consider the following. 5/6 times 1/4 and 5/6 times 8/2. Which two statements listed below best describe the products above? So we're comparing these to 5/6. We know there's 5/6 in both of them, and we can tell because every single question or every single answer has 5/6 in it except for the last one. And then remember, we're going to look at what's not in the box. Is what's not in the box greater, less, or equal to 1? It's less than 1, so this answer is going to be less than 5/6. Is what's not in the box greater, less, or equal to 1? It's greater than 1, so this answer is going to be greater than 5/6. So if we look at our choices, the product of 5/6 and 1/4 will be greater than the fraction 5/6. Is that what I have here, that this is going to be greater? No. The product of 5/6 and 1/4 will be less than the fraction 5/6. Is that what I have here? Yes, it is. The product of 5/6 and 8/2 will be greater than the fraction 5/6. Is that what I have here? Yes, it is. The product of 5/6 and 8/2 will be less than the fraction 5/6. Is that what I have? No. And finally, the two products will be equal because each fraction is greater than 0. No, the two products are not going to be equal, and we have 2 of our statements already chosen. Haley's recipe needs 4 2/3 cups flour. If the recipe is tripled, how much flour will she need? So the word tripled means times 3. So we're going to take 4 2/3 and multiply it by 3. So we're going to get mad. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 more is 14/3. We're going to put a 1 under the 3 so we can multiply straight across. Let's see, what's 14 times 3? 42. 42/3, but that is an improper fraction, so we're going to divide 42 by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time, 1 left over. We bring down our 2, and 3 goes into 12 4 times with nothing left over. So that would be 14 cups that she needs, which is letter choice D. J. Michael sets a goal to ride his bike 8 3/4 miles. Today he rode his bike 4/5 of his daily goal. How many miles did he ride his bike today? So it says he rode his bike 4/5 of his daily goal. So they want us to multiply 4/5 times his daily goal. So 4/5 times his daily goal was 8 3/4. To multiply, we can leave 4/5 alone. but we're going to have to make 8 3/4 into an improper fraction. So 4 times 8 is 32, plus 3 more is 35/4. Then we can multiply straight across. I don't know my 35 times tables, so I'm going to multiply 35 times 4 over here on the side. 4 times 5 is 20. That's 12, plus 2 more is 14. So 140 20ths. Then this line means divide, so I'm going to divide 140 by 20, and that is 7 with no remainder. So he rode his bike 7 miles. The next one, how many 1/8 cup servings are in 4 cups of raisins? You have 4 cups, and you want to know how many 1/8 cups you can get out of that. This is a division problem. We're going to take 4 cups, and we're going to cut it into 1/8 cup servings. 4 divided by 1/8. We multiply our whole number in our denominator, so 4 times 8 is 32. If we start with a whole number, we end with a whole number. A student needs to fill a tank with 9 liters of water. How many 1/3 liters of water will it take to fill the tank? Again, the tank is going to hold 9 liters, and we want to know how many 1/3 measurements will go into that 9 liters. So maybe they have a small container that holds 1/3, and they're going to fill it up. Take 1/3, put it in the tank. 1/3, put it in the tank. 1/3, put it in the tank. How many times are they going to have to do that? So we're going to take 9, divide it by 1/3. 9 times 3 is 27. If we start with a whole number, we end with a whole number. So our answer is 27. Make sure you have showed all of your work, and if you don't understand something, please email me.